Oh, Peter, you're looking really handsome.
Thank you, mate. Yeah, it's the new vitamins I've been having.
You're looking younger.
The vitamin D.
Your voice has got deeper.
Exactly. You look slightly taller.
Yeah.
Great head of hair.
Yeah, welcome to my abode.
Yeah, what are you taking? Are you taking the substance?
Well, yeah, actually. Actually, I am taking vitamin D. Lots of friends recommend.
You are like the new improved version of Peter Unger.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to thank him for keeping the seat warm.
Obviously, yes, exactly. He's been practicing for you to make sure it's all working. He's got all set up for you.
Yeah.
Would you like to do the honours?
Yeah, I will do. Yeah, I believe it's my turn and my honour to do the
Week 60.
Week 60. I know.
6060. I'm James Michael Mulcrone, and I'm joined by the mighty Lawrence Ratcliffe.
Good to meet you.
And Nikki. And we are the new improved trio of popcorn pundits. Peter's taking a week off because he's a bit tired.
I was just about to say, you make it sound like he's gone.
I know, exactly. She's past, he's gone.
Is it a shallow grave type thing?
His body's not cold yet.
Oh, okay,
Ewan McGregor, that was one of Ewan McGregor's first movies.
She looked like that guy with the film we were talking about, right?
Exactly. We're a trio of cinema lovers informing you of what's going on at the top 10 at the cinema, highlighting a certain film at the cinema, and then also talking about what you can stream at home. And it's also it's the Christmas special.
It's
the Christmas special. Next week we're going to be talking about our favourite films of the year. But this week we're talking about the top 10 Christmas movies and what Lawrence has got up his sleeve. Lawrence McLawrence, nearly. Lawrence McLawrence, would you like to give us the top 10 in the UK and Ireland currently from the 16th of December?
Yeah, I will give you. I've got the top 10 here.
Oh, nice.
Starting at number 10, I guess.
What's number 10?
Yeah, okay, we'll start down there. Pushpa 2, The Rule.
Yeah, we spoke about this last week, didn't we?
We did, yeah. It's an Indian Telugu language action drama.
Right.
It says the clash is on as Pushpa and Banwar Singh continue their rivalry in this epic conclusion of a two-parted action drama.
And this is the point where every week I turn around and I go, I'm really interested in investing in foreign language movies. And I think we should definitely do that, Lawrence.
Well, I mean, there are quite a few on our local.
I think there is.
Local, so maybe, yeah.
What's number 9?
The second, number 9.
Yes.
6 weeks on release. It says here.
Yes.
The Rock got paid, I believe, 50 mil out of the 250 mil budget for this Red One.
Wow.
Seen it yet?
Not yet. However, I've also been told it is now streaming.
It is.
It apparently is bombed quite significantly at the cinema.
I understand.
So I will make the effort to watch it over Christmas at home, I think.
Yeah.
Apparently the snowmen are brilliant. And that's about it.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Number 8, Queer. Anybody?
Yes.
Anybody?
Well,
it's anybody, but
well, given a chance. How this is Daniel Radcliffe's new movie.
No, it's not.
No, Daniel. Daniel would be interesting, wouldn't it?
Daniel Craig.
I mean, that would be an interesting.
That would.
Yeah.
Daniel Craig's new movie.
So it's Lee recounts his life in Mexico City among whatever that word is, American students.
Yeah.
He pursues a young man named Allerton, a US Navy serviceman recently discharged from Jacksonville, Florida.
Right.
And it's an A24.
I love an A24 movie.
You love an A24.
Now,
yeah.
The trailers I've seen for this, everybody looks really sweaty.
Yeah.
Like really sweaty, like dirty sweaty.
Yeah.
And it's directed by the same director that The Challengers. Now, I wasn't too hot about
I've not seen that
Challengers
yet. Yeah, that's on the list.
But Call Me By Your Name as well, the same director.
Oh,
so
okay. I've seen that.
That's good. That's good form.
Yeah.
So, and obviously you've got Daniel in it as well. So I'm interested to see what direction you're going in.
Yeah. Is it? I think it's been out a while. Is it? Or is it?
No,
is it
it's
filmed
been
a long time
advertised
ago?
a while.
Oh, okay. I remember seeing a trailer for it. I think a while ago. Anyway, okay, cool. Number 7, Lord of the Rings, The War of Orothru.
I do believe Tucker TV went to see this.
Okay.
And they went to see this on Sunday.
Yeah.
Haven't received a review from them yet, so we need to give them a push to find out exactly how that was.
It's an anime fantasy film.
Yes.
Obviously to do with Lord of the Rings.
I've seen snippets of the trailer. It does look quite good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Number 6, Conclave, which we reviewed a few weeks
Peter's
ago.
favourite movie.
Yeah, he loved that one.
Yeah, he's very aware of the amount of Oscar nominees this is going to get.
Is he? I mean,
bit
I
like
wasn't so.
Paddington.
I wasn't so.
You weren't, were you?
No,
I'm
no, I
convinced
wasn't.
it's going to be Oscar galore.
Yeah.
It may not win a lot, but I think it's going to be nominated.
Well, it'll get a few noms for sure.
What score did we give it?
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't have
I
that.
think it was
one.
6.9 or
I
something.
think so.
It was
Yeah.
a 7 or 6.
It was around about the 7 mark.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here we go.
And I'm only here 1 week, right?
Yeah. No. Wow. You know. Who turned?
Next week, me and Peter.
That review is pending. Yeah.
Number 5.
Number 5, Craven the Hunter.
Do you know what? I was booked in to watch this on Sunday,
Uh-huh.
and I was so exhausted at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I've heard so many scathing reviews about
Already?
this.
Okay.
Apparently, it's got something like 9% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, okay. Stinker.
Yeah.
So this is an Aaron Taylor Johnson and Russell Crowe movie. It says Craven's complex relationship with his ruthless father starts down a path of vengeance, motivating him to become not only the greatest hunter in the world, but also its most feared. Its current IMDb score is 5.5, and its current Rotten Tomatoes, it's in double figures.
11?
14.
14.
Okay.
Ouch.
Going up slightly.
Yeah, that is a.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a live action thing, is it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it is,
Live
yeah.
action.
never
However, I think Aaron Johnson Taylor's going to bounce back next year with 28 years later.
Yeah.
It's a Marvel Comics character.
Oh, no,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So I'm surprised it's that
never
that
heard
No,
low.
well, apparently it's on the same par as Morbius.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
bombs
Gigantically
right. from above.
Okay.
What's next?
Still at number 1. I think that's what it says here anyway.
Always
that's
at number
that's
1.
Peter's handwriting.
Yeah.
Number 4, Paddington in Peru.
To be
Well
fair,
done, Peter.
it stayed at number 4 for a while, so he was right that it would stay for a while,
no,
just
no,
not
no.
at number 1.
Exactly.
guess-
He said number 1. He said £1. I still haven't received it from him.
Yeah, I guess he had no idea of the films that were
It's not
coming
the end
out
of the year
above
yet.
it. But number 3, Gladiator 2.
Yes, indeedy. Which
Not seen it. Yeah. I mean, I love the first one so much that,
Yes.
and having read a few reviews about it, it sounds like a bit of a retread. So
I think so.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, they should have just called it Return to the Colosseum
yeah.
and made it different completely
Done.
and started all over again. Number 2,
Number 2, Wicked Part 1,
which is Wicked.
Part,
you haven't seen it yet.
no, I
have
haven't seen it yet.
Dude,
No, I'm going to
honestly,
see that. Yeah, I'm going to see that.
Seriously,
it
it is surprisingly brilliant.
Yeah.
You've seen it as well, haven't
Oh,
you?
I loved it.
And did you agree with Peter and I's gushy review?
Yes, I did.
Good.
My niece, I went with my sister and my niece, who is about 8.
Yes.
And we were thinking, oh God, it's nearly 3 hours. She did
Yeah.
not move.
Yeah, really.
And then at the end she went, is it over? And I was like, yeah, is
Yeah.
that a bad thing? She was like, no, I didn't want it to end.
Oh, nor did I. I didn't want it to end either.
I feel like
Yeah,
it did
okay.
go really quickly though
Yeah.
for the nearly 3 hours.
Right. Oh, well, I'm definitely going to. That's a Christmas one. Definitely going to go and see that. But and then number 1,
Mona.
Mona 2.
Mona 2.
Yeah, I've still not seen number 1.
Wow.
Moana. Sorry.
Moana.
Yeah, we were talking about that on Monday night, weren't we? But
And
yeah,
Mona 2
Yeah.
is not Disney.
yeah. No, well, there's a bit of a mashup with that and the film.
You
we
know
see,
it,
I think. But,
exactly.
yeah, but Moana 2. Sorry, yeah, at number 1.
I'm
Still.
going to go see that over the Christmas break.
Yeah.
No, I do believe the Tuckers loved the first one so much, but they weren't overly
And
pleased.
they went to see the second
with
one.
the
and,
second one.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, so
yeah.
we need a review of that.
Yeah.
If anybody's seen this movie, we
Yeah.
need reviews of them.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
100%.
And I'm going to watch the first one, I think, because apparently that's meant to be amazing.
Apparently it is. And
First
obviously,
Moana,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
I've heard the same. I've
Yeah,
heard
yeah.
the same.
So that's this week's.
Top 10 of the UK current charts of the film distributed in the UK. So there you have it. Now, if you've seen films that we haven't commented on, or if you've seen films that we haven't given a score, please get in contact with us and let us know what your scores are. How would people get in contact with us?
They can shout really loudly. They can send in Hedgerig.
Yeah.
Or if they're modern,
Yeah.
they can slide into our DMs.
I love a good sliding into
I love
DM.
a good slide. I
Yeah,
haven't had a good
lovely.
slide for a
Sounds
while.
great.
Yeah.
Or they can comment on our videos and our Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok posts.
Hurrah!
Down here, was it?
Here he is. Here. Just
Yeah.
right here.
Just here somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Subscribe and like. Subscribe. And I've never said that. Subscribe
maybe
and
not.
like.
Yeah.
Follow.
Rate,
that
review,
sort of
and
thing.
subscribe.
There you go. So there's your top 10s. We're going to be talking about a movie that Lawrence and I went to see at the
We did.
cinema this week.
We did?
It's not even in the top 10 at the moment,
No.
but it has been heavily rumoured that it's going to be in the top 5 top best movies of the year.
I did read
Along with the Brutalist.
one of the lists that
Yes.
one of the lists that I saw this week had it in at number 5. So
What film did we go and see, Lawrence?
we went to see a film called Anora.
Anora.
Which hasn't been on very wide release. I think
Don't
we
know
saw
why.
maybe the trailer for it a few months ago, but I certainly got quite excited by it because I saw who the director was, a guy called Sean Baker, and I was really looking forward to it. So I saw it when it came out Monday night. We went along, and cinema was packed
The
actually.
cinema was packed, actually.
Yeah.
It was indeed. Now, you mentioned you've got some experience with the director already. Tell me about the director and what films you've seen by the director.
So I've only seen one other of his films actually. So it's a guy called Sean Baker, an American guy. I think this is his 8th film.
Yep.
He's got a couple of others on various platforms that are out now, which I'm going to go and check out.
Yeah.
So there was one, it's one called Tangerine, which sounds really interesting. He does a lot of films, and I picked this up from his Wikipedia, which is about the sort of marginalised subcultures, so
Yes.
immigrants and sex workers.
Yes.
Mainly
But
in the
making
US.
it real.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, really based on sort of realism. But so his last film was a film called Red Rocket,
Right.
which is about a retired male porn star who goes back to his sort of
Sorry, James's face.
Midwest, roots in America to go to hook up with his wife again.
Right.
And stuff happens. And yeah, it's a really great film.
Well, if it's half as gritty and diverse as the film that we're about to talk
why don't we
about,
come back?
hopefully.
Why don't we ask me that question at the end? But
Right.
yeah, but so when I saw he was the director for this, I was really excited for it. So
Fantastic.
yeah.
So we've got a good pedigree already. Now, Nikki,
Yeah.
the lead actor, I believe her name starts with an M. I think it's Mickey
Madison.
Yes.
Madison.
Yeah.
I think she was also in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood as well.
I saw that, but I don't recall her.
I think she was one of the female characters from the coven of females. You know, when Brad Pitt
the kind of the cult thing.
That's
Yeah,
right, the cult when Brad Pitt goes there. I think she's one of them.
Okay, yeah, right, that makes
I think
sense.
she's one of them.
Yeah.
She plays an incredibly sort of layered and hard character, but not hard all the time. Not hard for all the same reasons. In a hard character in a gritty world of lap dancing, and I think this film has a fantastic mixture of dark insight and humour, as well as it being gritty, fast paced, and sort of it just doesn't stop. It's just an ongoing.
I mean, it's 2.5 hours, right?
Yes.
But it blows by. I mean,
It felt like 3/4 of an hour.
Yeah, it really did. It was really it really sort of pushed it along. I mean, I was reading a thing, again today just in preparation. I actually made some notes in preparation.
Can I
for
just
this,
say,
but,
He's got a
his
fantastic
brainstorm.
mind map.
Oh,
I'm just
it's
really pleased with his
amazing.
mind map.
Good
Well,
little
yeah, you're
mind
not
map.
allowed to say brainstorm anymore, are you? Sorry.
Are you not?
Really?
Mind map, yeah.
Okay, I did a little mind map.
I'll tell you later.
Okay, right, yeah. And it called it a rom-com.
It's not a rom.
Wow.
I mean, it did have
okay.
some.
I mean, there's some very funny moments in it.
It did have some very funny.
Yeah, there
moments
is
in
some
it.
very, very funny.
Yeah. But
Because I always tried to do a film comparison.
yes,
And I was desperately trying to think of, and I was thinking about, there's no other films really that has that level of humour, which you've mentioned already, but it's really good humour, not slapstick, but just proper humour.
And he wrote this, by the way, this
Did
Sean
he?
Baker guy. Yeah, he wrote it. As
And then you've got the tenseness in it. It's incredibly tense.
Yeah.
And then it's dark, it's gritty, it's sexy, but it's also quite diverse in its moral sort of perspective as well, which because you look at it from different people's perspective. And the closest thing I could get to it was Sexy Beast,
right.
because all the way through that movie you got that underlying humour, which comes from fear a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And then you've got the stress of the Ben Kingsley character turning up,
Right.
and then you've got that sort of that
yeah,
tussle of you got and also. You've got gangster, but with a low capital G.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
it's not Goodfellas
Yeah.
with a capital
Yeah.
G. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not. I'm a.
Yeah.
You know, they're not gangsters.
Yeah.
It's the underlying element of gangsterism,
Yeah.
obviously coming from Russia.
Yeah, right.
Which to me sets a really good solid foundation
Yes,
for.
yeah. I think there was
the
a point in
stress.
it. There was a point in it
Yeah.
where there's a new character introduced.
Yes.
When they ring up
Yes.
that Torres guy.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
And you and I sort of looked at each other and
Yeah.
thought,
Oh, dear.
here we go.
He's all gonna kick off.
Yeah.
The
But
good-
to your point, it wasn't. It kind of.
It was applied.
Yeah.
And you knew it could kick off at any second now.
Yes,
and you were kind of waiting for it to kick off.
Yeah.
So let's just smash through the start of the storyline, and we won't give any plot away. And if you've seen the advert, this pretty much sums up the advert and the start of the first two acts of the film as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of. I mean, I don't know, Nikki. Have you seen Pretty Woman? Have you?
Of course.
You've seen Pretty Woman.
Yes.
So it's kind of.
It's a mixture of
it's
those
kind
two
of Pretty
films.
Woman. Yeah. Pretty Woman meets Sexy Beast meets.
Goodfellas could meet any sort of Russian oligarch sort of smash up type thing.
Yeah. But you go for it. Yeah.
So you start off in a lap dancing club, and the first scene. The first scene is accompanied by take that track, and I've never seen so many bottoms going up and down in one line.
I mean, yeah, it's quite an opening shot, isn't it?
It's opening in so many ways.
Did you not see your dancing at the Hidden Gems party?
Of course, yeah, exactly. But I was wearing less clothes than they were at the time, so that makes a complete difference. So there's a lot of skin initially, right at the start of the movie.
It's probably, I mean, as opening scenes go, it's
more skin that I've seen a lot.
Yeah.
And you could feel, and what was fantastic was, initially they go, oh, it's quite saucy, it's a little bit sexy. And then it went on to a certain point, and I love it when directors do this. They took it too far, to the point where it was kind of sexy, and then it was kind of funny and sexy because you're kind of laughing at it. And then it became a bit uncomfortable, and you could feel people like shuffling around because it just went on and on and on and on and on and on and on. And to me, that sort of depicted lap dancing in a way as well. For men of a certain age, you just say, go, yeah, great idea, and then you think, actually, I don't want to do it anymore now. I don't want to do it. It all feels a bit dirty.
Yeah.
And so the lead character, Annie. But Annie,
is how she goes by.
She calls it, and I think that's quite important. The fact that she calls herself Annie, but her real name is Anya.
Yeah,
so,
Anora.
Anora. And I think that sort of sums the subplot for her all the way through the film, because she's using that as a defense mechanism, using her dance name to her is her defense mechanism all the way through the movie.
Yeah.
So she's entrusted by taking care of a young Russian customer in this lap dancing club, mainly because she understands Russian. She usually contests that she doesn't speak Russian, but she does really, but she understands it a lot better than she really does.
Yeah.
And she comes across she's introduced to this very, very young, immature Timothy Chalamet lookalike.
Yes. Yeah.
Who is incredibly charismatic, very immature, very over the top. Just a lovely young lad who is having a fantastic time of his life with all of his parents' money in a strip joint, throwing money all over the place.
We've all been there, right?
We've all been there.
Yeah.
We've all been there. We'll probably be there this weekend.
We will.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so there's obviously a spark between these two characters, to the point where they exchange telephone numbers, and then he invites her to this gigantic party at his glass-built mansion just outside of Coney Island. And it is the biggest party, the biggest glass mansion you'd have in your life, and there's sex, drugs, and rock and roll all over the place.
Yeah.
And it is like a gigantic party.
I mean, it's like yours on New Year's Eve.
That's exactly what it's going to be like. And if you haven't been invited, I'm really, really sorry. There's only so much room in there.
Next year.
Yeah.
At the end of the party, he becomes more and more fascinated with her as a character. She becomes more fascinated with his wallet and his connections, to the point where he sums up this Pretty Woman proposal.
Yeah.
Where he'll go, have a week with me, I'll pay for the week. She takes a week off work.
Yeah.
Inverted brackets.
Yeah.
Spends a week with him, and the relationship continues.
Yeah.
Now, she is an incredibly Coney Island character. She's got that twang. She's got that Goodfellas twang, and you know very well that she can take care of herself. You know, even through the way she walks and talks, the fact that she has no embarrassment in the way of turning up to this fantastic party, but still dressed as a lap dancer.
Yeah.
Makes no pretense about her background at all.
Yeah.
During that time, during the week there, he then decides that they're going to go to Las Vegas.
I mean, you're missing. There is one bit you're missing here.
What's that?
Which is that there is quite a bit of sex going on at this. That you're.
I'm assuming that everybody thought.
Okay, right.
Well, it wasn't for him and it wasn't for her, so I'm assuming everybody assumed that
Okay,
there's going to be. But there is a lot of sex.
There's a fair bit of that going on. Yeah. I mean, is it a good first date movie? I guess.
Yes.
Okay,
I would
perfect.
say. I mean,
Recommendation.
there's lots of furious jumping, and
yeah.
she's teaching him to slow down
Yes.
at one point because
Yeah.
he's a very very young lad.
He's a keen-
very
he's
very.
very keen.
He's keen to please
He's also playing his Xbox quite a bit.
a lot.
Yeah, he's playing that.
Usually afterwards.
Yeah. I mean,
As like a
yeah. I mean, I normally watch Match of the Day or something.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I usually play Xbox.
yeah.
Anyway, so they're together in Las Vegas, and I think if this was filmed by anybody else, I think particularly these scenes would be crass, would be cliche. They would be 2-dimensional and throwaway scenes, but they weren't.
Yeah.
They did have that element of entitlement and that element of money being thrown away. But it still had a 3-dimensional sort of setting to what I thought.
Yeah.
Particularly with the interaction with the staff and how they interacted with other guests as well.
I mean, it's quite something when they turn up at the Vegas hotel.
Yes.
And the owner obviously recognises him and says, "I didn't know you were coming, but there's somebody in your suite right now. But we'll have them out."
No, exactly.
Like the penthouse suite, we'll have them out in half an hour, kind of thing.
And I have heard stories about these things really do happen.
Yeah, I mean, this guy or his family are, wealthy, kind of beyond belief, I guess.
Yes.
But yeah.
So they're in Vegas. They're getting on really, really well. He's obviously, that immature, rich. And beyond your wildest dreams, and then they kind of, in a moment of whether it be clarity or madness or whatever it may be, they decide to get married in a very disjointed proposal.
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
It's not romantic,
no,
but it's not a formal relationship.
No,
they I think they've kind of established that there's definitely a spark between them. There's definitely like each other. I think there's a green card mentioned during that conversation, and there's obviously an ability to be able to piss his parents off as well. So you've got all those factors.
Yeah, I think it's because the period between the meeting and this proposal is like 2 weeks, isn't it?
Exactly.
So there's an awful lot of like lusting and stuff going on in that space of time.
Yes.
But when they get to this marriage proposal bit, it's like
it slows down.
It does, and it sort of. You can almost see them going, Annie kind of going, well, obviously there's all the money in the world here.
Exactly.
And then him just saying, well, this has been a fun 2 weeks.
Why don't we continue?
Why don't we just continue it?
Yeah, exactly.
And as a sideline, I'll kind of, my parents maybe
wind my focus up a little
maybe
bit.
won't be as impressed with it. Yeah.
Now, initially, she's there for the money initially because she's been paid to have sex, and it's not a two-way conversation. It's not a two-way relationship. It's definitely she's there to be paid. And at that point, she turns around and goes, "Well, obviously, I'm exclusive to you now, but I need a 4-carat diamond ring."
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't, right?
Exactly.
That's the sort of requirement I get all the time.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Sophie, for taking a 4-carat instead of a 5-carat. Thank goodness for that. Now, that all seems lovely. Now, that to me is almost like the first quarter of the movie done.
Yeah.
Then obviously, even during the advert, you get a little bit of the aftermath, which is obviously the parents find out.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're living in Russia, but they find out through the minders. They find out through the Godfather, who's obviously probably taking care of them as well. And these officials that are working for the Russian mafia, so to speak, are terrified of the Russian mafia, and they're terrified that they're going to come back over to the United States and kill them because they've allowed their son to get married.
Yeah. And there's a bit of comedy in that, right?
Massively.
The three of these characters,
Yeah.
these Russian characters, kind of turning up with and trying to work out what's happened.
Yep.
And the Annie character, I mean, she completely loses her mind. I mean, she goes, what are you doing in my house?
Exactly.
Yeah, you get out. You work for us.
Yes,
kind
right.
of all that kind of thing, right? And you can, as you said earlier on, there's this kind of level of escalation of violence, which I mean, all I'd seen was the trailer.
Yes.
And then I knew that girl meets boy and parents aren't happy, but I hadn't really seen or heard much else. So there was this, I guess, for the last half of the film, there was this escalation of something really bad could happen here, and it will be completely in keeping with the film.
Yeah, you were totally expecting anything to happen.
Yeah. And there was a guy who looked a bit like
Ewan McGregor. Absolutely. A very young Ewan McGregor.
A guy.
From Trainspotting.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Spitting image of him.
That's right.
But
with a thick Russian accent.
He turned up, and there was something said when he was arriving around. You're not going to do
Yeah.
Gonna,
Don't touch her. Yeah. Don't hurt him.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, don't. Which implied he's hurt people in the past.
He was the muscle, right? He was
right.
gonna, and he just all the way through the film, he was just like this simmering.
Yeah.
At any moment
he had
now,
that cliche look about him. He had the
for him.
skinhead.
Yeah. He was great.
He had
was
the
great.
shaved
He was really,
face.
he was
and
great.
He looked, and I think this is a really important part of the film. He initially he came across like an incredibly two-dimensional character that just happened to be the muscle.
Yeah.
And what I really liked about the way that this film was directed, that at any point of this film, any one of the side actors had the ability to be able to come to the forefront and actually be in the spotlight for a certain amount of time, but without it being forced.
Yeah.
And it was incredibly natural that these characters were almost like playing, musical chairs with the limelight.
Right. Yeah.
Because obviously he had The Godfather, and he was in the limelight for a fair bit.
Yeah.
And even before that, the chap with the beard, who found him initially, he was kind of in the limelight. And then obviously then you had our Russian Ewan McGregor, which is Ivan.
Yes.
Ivan.
Yeah.
A cliche name.
Yeah.
And then he kind of became the forefront of the movie as well.
Yeah.
So it was unexpected the way that some of the plot went in certain directions. But at the same time, if you wrote the plot down on a piece of paper, it could be looked upon as a very two-dimensional film.
Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah. I mean, you kind of, I felt, and I'm a middle-aged man of a certain age, right?
Yes.
But I felt quite.
Don't tell Greg that.
Yeah, exactly. that she was. She was quite empowered, right?
was.
Yeah, when she was in that opening scene when she's in the
right.
club and she's naked, walking around, talking to people, and trying to get clients to come for
That's right.
for private dances.
dance.
Yeah.
How you doing?
She was in total control of that.
Oh yeah.
And also, the place where she was working, it wasn't it. It didn't feel like she was being exploited, right?
No.
Like when she said to her boss,
I'm
"I'm
out of here."
leaving," it wasn't like, "Oh, well, you need to," It was just like, "Good on you."
You're
sort of,
leaving.
Yeah.
It didn't have that, and I think that's what quite clever about the director, and I think that's what he's mentioned in the past about the way that he studies subcultures and the way that he portrays them in a non-cliche way. And I think that was a quite important part of the message as well. I thought.
Yeah.
So you've got this ongoing pressure and this ongoing simmering pressure of the parents turning up.
Yes. Yeah.
And we can't give too much away.
Yeah.
Up to that point.
Yeah,
I don't think.
exactly. Yeah. I'd say so. Yeah.
You happy with that?
Yeah. They sort of.
so.
Yeah, it's they're on their way. I think that's
They're
probably
on their way.
Yeah.
Mum and Dad are on their way. And it could kick off, or it might not kick off at all.
No,
it might have kicked off before the kick.
Could be happy families.
Yeah.
So let's talk about characters. Let's talk about the characters. Let's talk about the scene. Let's talk about music. And let's talk about what we thought about the film. Okay. So, so character development.
I mean, the two leads in it, I guess. This, Annie and
the young Russian.
the Russian guy.
The Timothy Chalamet Russian.
Yeah.
Right?
Who's
Ivan?
Ivan. There you go. There you go.
Who is it? He's Russian actually. I looked him up. Mark Adelstein.
Yes.
And he's actually 22.
Is he?
Right. And she's 25.
Wow. So
And
kind
it's
of
funny. And in the film,
you can kind of see that
after they've made out for the first time.
Yes.
He says, "Oh, how old are you?"
Yes.
And she says, "How old do you think I am?"
Yeah.
He says, "I think you're quite old. I think you're 25."
Yes.
At which point,
we scoff. Exactly.
Yeah.
If
and,
only.
And then she says, "I'm only 23."
Yes.
And he says he's 21. So that's that's where they're. But I mean, so I kind of been thinking about it. I mean, just her character. I mean, just an absolute sort of barnstorming performance.
Yeah.
And there was, on the face of it, it's boy meets girl and this sort of thing. But actually, her sort of movement, her finding herself in this situation, how she sort of tries to sort of break out of that, and then come to maybe kind of accept it. But she's great. He's kind of just playing any person.
I think he gets a dirty end of the stick when it comes to characterization, because at the end of the day, I think her character is a lot more layered, particularly at the end. There's some really poignant moments at the end that really portray how many layers of the onion you would have to be working in industry and how you would have to protect yourself. But he does have a bit of a cliche characterization, and particularly his development as the film goes on becomes in a way, a little bit more cliche, I think.
Yeah,
you know,
maybe,
the way he interacts with his parents and so on and so forth. You think to yourself, I was really hoping for something a bit different from that. But
I thought maybe I thought at the end that actually, if you were to watch it again, or if you sort of to reflect back on it,
you'd see him differently.
Yeah, and you go, okay, well his how this has developed is totally in keeping with how he is, right? Which is just which you say is just like
party boy.
Yeah, a 21-year-old, no inhibitions, all the money in the world.
That's right.
And this is kind of what we're doing, and maybe some parents who.
But I think there was two surprises for me. Obviously, Igor was what's his name? Is it Igor?
Ivan.
So Ivan's the
young lad.
The young lad, and then one of the Russian goons. Can I say that?
Yeah.
Can I say it?
Anyway,
Anyway,
on the podcast.
You have now,
But,
Shit ain't now, they're going to come in for you.
Yeah. There's one. The guy who looks like Ewan McGregor. If you look at that guy.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
His character is quite. But also the older, the Godfather character.
Yes. Yeah.
His character is fantastic because in the very first scene you see him in, you're shocked by the first scene, and I won't give anything away because it's a beautiful bit of imagery, and then what he does and how he interacts.
Oh, I see his first scene, not the first scene in the film.
No, his first scene is when you first see him and you think it takes you by surprise initially, and it adds a beautiful layer to it.
Yeah,
and how he handled, because obviously his job is to ensure that the marriage is annulled. The son is waiting for the parents, and everything is sorted. And it's his fear, and it's his terror of the parents comes across incredibly well. And then of course there's his sidekick with the beard, who has a fantastic little spiral of sickness and whatever.
Yeah, and again, what's going to happen to him is a constant.
And do you know what? I think that sums it up. I think you're constantly waiting for something really bad to happen.
Yes,
all the way through this movie.
And
we can't give anything away in that respect. I think you really do feel like you're actually in Coney Island. You really do have that, and there's the stairway for the subway and the colours and the sound in the background.
It's good. It's good. It's a good setting.
It works really, really well. And of course, there is the Take That track.
Well, so as soon as that started, I think I was going to say a big smile on my face. But if you go and see it, you'll. But the reason being is that it was the sound. It was the sort of the soundtrack. Or the wedding
to
tune,
the bottoms.
A wedding tune of a friend of mine.
Yes.
That was his tune that his wife was sort of their first dance and the rest of it.
Yeah.
And then you see it in this context where they're basically just panning down a list of gyrating bodies.
Yes.
So I was sort of smiling about that. And then when they get married, I think in Vegas,
it did do the same track again.
The same track comes again. Every other bit of music in the film, I could quite happily say I've never heard any of it before in my life.
I thought the soundtrack was absolutely. I tell you what it was. I particularly when they were with the sex scenes and the strip club and all of the debauchery, the young tracks that they chose. Worked so well, and they were so well picked because as an older viewer, initially they go, I have no idea what these tracks are, but I know they're filthy, and I know that the lyrics are all in keeping with what's going on. But also, I think it really summed up the youth and the enthusiasm and the debauchery of
it fitted right in.
Perfectly.
I mean, when the credits came up at the end, it had all the tracks, and there were quite a few of them. And I was like, I didn't know there were so many. To me, they all sounded the same.
Talking of enthusiasm, we may need to get your scores in because I feel like you two will chat about this for hours.
So scores on the doors, mister.
I thought it was great. I mean, I'd say come back to the film. I gave it an 8.3.
Wow.
Did you?
Yes.
I'm giving it 8.9.
Oh, okay.
I really liked it.
Yeah, I mean, I did. I thought it was great.
I think it's going to be. I think it's going to have Oscar nominations. I think it's going to have Golden Globes.
Yeah.
I really do think it's going to be up there.
That gives it 8.6.
Right, 8.6.
Okay, would you like some facts?
Yes, please.
So you mentioned Golden Globes. It has actually been nominated for some 2025 Golden Globes.
Insert joke here.
Yeah, exactly.
Golden Globes.
The Mickey Madison,
Yes.
the actress, she's actually in a TV miniseries that's on at the moment on Apple TV called Lady in the Lake, which stars I can't think of her name. Natalie Portman.
Oh, really?
And it is about in 60s Baltimore, an aspiring reporter pursues the murder of forgotten young woman.
Okay.
Other facts quickly.
Yep.
It's the first American Palme d'Or winner since The Tree of Life in 2011, and the Palme d'Or, English is Golden Palm, is the highest prize awarded to the director for Best Feature Film of the official competition of the Cannes Film Festival.
Yeah.
So it's a stellar movie then already.
Yeah. Got good.
It's-
Got good.
It's the fifth film in a row, as the festival didn't take place in 2020,
Yeah.
that was distributed by Neon in the United States to win the Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival.
okay.
Do you know what the other 4 were?
No.
Okay, so it was Parasite, which was 2019,
Yeah.
Titan
Yes.
in 2021.
Do you know what though? To be fair, Titan and this movie have got parallels.
I mean, I
mean,
can't remember
apart-
anything about that film.
but apart from having sex with a car,
yeah.
My favourite film in the whole wide world?
Titanic.
No.
No.
Triangle of Sadness.
That's a great. If you've not seen that, dude, you need to watch that movie. I might give you that as homework.
And Anatomy of a Fool.
Oh yeah.
Which I still haven't seen.
Yeah. Oh, that's
So, yeah.
good. We not. That's
All,
good. That's
all
really
5
good.
in a
That's
row
good.
have
Okay,
won
okay,
it,
yeah,
and
yeah.
So they're in good, but they're in good company then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Good.
yeah. I
Just-
mean, yeah. I mean, my kind of, yeah. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I loved it. I thought it was brilliant.
Yes.
I mean, it would be, yeah.
So, Mark, how did you say his name? Edelstein.
Yes.
Yeah.
Edelstein.
Yeah.
He plays Ivan. He actually performed his audition tape while in the nude.
Yeah.
I thought you'd enjoy that fact.
Yeah.
Sean Baker,
Yes.
the director, it's his biggest production to date.
Okay.
He was already a fan of Mickey Madsen's work after seeing her in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, okay.
To the point where he re-watched it just to watch her scenes.
Right.
And while the film was in early development, he saw her in Scream with his longtime wife producer Sam Quain.
Right.
As they were walking out of the theatre, he immediately wanted to contact her agent for this part.
Oh, right. Wow. Right.
And
She was perfect for it.
Yeah.
She was, yeah. And there was another one I saw.
Sorry.
So this is the first Sean Baker film since Tangerine to not be released domestically by A24.
Oh.
This time Neon stepped in to distribute
Right.
it.
It could have been an A24 movie easily.
I mean, I was going to say if A24 did Cinderella, this is probably what they
Oh
probably
yeah.
what they come up with. But
Yeah, pretty
yeah.
much
I mean,
Cinderella
I
mixed
was also reading that he was talking about an intimacy coordinator on the set and
Yes,
stuff.
yeah. And they used the term sex shots instead of sex scenes.
Oh, did they? Okay, right. But yeah, he was saying that he was saying he was quite comfortable directing those scenes,
Yeah.
and if obviously actor safety was paramount, and if
Of
they
course.
wanted an intimacy coordinator,
Exactly.
he'd be fully behind that. But he said he'd shot up to 10 sex scenes before.
Right.
Well, I thought he's doubled that. He's doubled that quotient.
Yeah,
quota
exactly.
in this film alone. But,
Exactly. Within the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And saying about that, so Sean Baker would actually act out different sex positions with his wife to demonstrate to the actors what he wanted them to do.
Do you know that immediately reminds me of John Cleese? You with me? Do you know exactly what I'm talking about?
No.
But John Cleese, there's a moment in the meaning of life
Right.
where John Cleese plays a school teacher,
Right.
Oh, yeah.
and he's got the students in front of him, and he goes, right, school sex education. I've brought Mandy in. Mandy's my wife, and we're going to do the missionary
Right,
position.
yeah.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
And the kids are taking. Are you taking notes, Dorothy? Are you taking notes, Jarvis? You taking notes?
Right.
Yes, exactly.
Right. Very good. Yeah.
But very, very good.
And then 2 quick facts. You mentioned Red Rocket earlier.
Red Rocket.
So Brittany Rodriguez, who plays Dawn in Sean Baker's previous film Red Rocket, played a security guard at the HQ in Anora.
Right.
And Charles Yang, who played Ming Ming in Sean Baker's Takeout, played the Las Vegas hotel manager in Anora.
Okay. Oh, right.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then,
yeah, go on.
sorry,
No, go on.
I've got one last fact about Red Rocket.
Yeah.
It says during the shot of the Welcome to the Fabulous Las Vegas sign,
Right.
a billboard can be seen promoting someone named Strawberry.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes.
This is a character from Sean Baker's earlier film Red Rocket.
Yes,
I love it. I love little Easter eggs like that.
Well, so I watched the Red Rocket trailer just before we went out
Right.
to see this, and I was just to remind myself
exactly,
of kind of what that was. But I preferred Red Rocket.
Did
Yeah. Because again, both of these films are why I like going to the cinema now,
Yeah.
because they're both, you just, they're unique
Groundbreaking.
stories. Their surprise, the whole thing is
It's like a
just
good
very
book,
novel.
isn't it? Yeah.
And Red Rocket, is a great film. If you've not seen it, you should
Good.
definitely-
Well, we
definitely
recommend
watch
Red Rocket.
Yeah.
You also watched another couple of films this week at home as well.
I did. I watched. So I'm reading a book at the minute about called Box Office Poison, which is about box office a century of box office flops.
Right.
Swim fan.
So and these are films that made. Yeah, what's that?
Swim fan.
Yep.
Definitely in
So
it.
one of them was so just see if you tell me if you've heard any of these films.
Okay.
Right? So one of them was Dune, like the David Lynch. one,
Obviously,
right? Which
yes.
obviously you've heard of that, right?
Exactly.
So a big kind of flop at the time. Another one was called Nothing But Trouble.
Right.
Now,
Sounds familiar.
If I told you
does.
who's in this film, right? It's got Dan Aykroyd,
Yes.
John Candy,
Yeah.
Chevy Chase,
Yes.
Demi Moore.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like the
How
best.
was it a flop?
Yeah.
Dan Aykroyd wrote it.
Well, Bonfire and the
Directed
Valentines
it.
are the same as well.
Yeah.
That was a massive flop as well.
Everybody
in it.
Yeah. But so it's got these. But so that's one of these films, right? I mean, watch the trailer. It is. I mean, I've been watching the trailers for all these films,
Yeah.
and they are like
Star-studded.
Rollerball.
Not
Which-
heard of that one.
Yeah,
It's a remake of.
It's a remake of the 1970s one,
Yeah,
though,
yeah,
isn't it?
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
it's not
So
a James
again,
Caan one.
It's actually John McTiernan.
Yeah,
the
and-
guy who directed Die Hard. Whatever.
Yes.
Anyway, that guy.
But it also stars
Directed
Jason
by him.
Statham, I think.
Yeah, anyway, that was a flop. And then another one in the chapter I'm in, just read it at home, Adventures of Pluto Nash.
I've heard of that.
I haven't.
I've definitely heard of that one.
Yeah, I've
Give
never
me-
heard of it. But it's Eddie Murphy
Yes!
on the moon
That's right.
running some sort of nightclub.
That's right, yes. And he invites all of his friends from Harlem and all that. So it's a very sort of Harlem-esque sort of...
I mean,
Yes.
it was an absolute stinker, apparently.
Yes,
But,
apparently
so,
it was.
so, but when I was telling you about this book the other day, one of the films was called Babylon Queen.
Yes.
Which is like set in the 19 sort of when they're making a big Egyptian sort of
Yes.
film back in the day when they're building these big sets. And then you said,
Babylon.
"Have I seen Babylon?"
Yes.
And I said, "No, I haven't." So the other day I watched that, which is a long film.
Long film.
And I sat down to watch it one evening
It's exhausting.
and on school night, and I
Yeah.
thought I'm not going to get to the end of it, but
Yeah.
I was so engrossed.
Brad
I
Pitt was
watched the whole thing.
fantastic in it.
Yeah, Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie,
Yeah.
and the other guy.
Yeah. And the elephant.
Yeah, an elephant. Yeah, but I just an interesting film. But I love that. And then the other thing I watched recently was L.A. Confidential, which I've rewatched. Right?
Yes.
Have you seen that? Seen
No,
LA
I may have done.
And that ironically,
Guy
it goes
Pearce.
full circle on our top 10 because that also stars Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe. Yeah, Russell
Before,
Crowe.
before he was Kinnaid's dad.
Yes. So Russell Crowe's in it, and I'd like to posit. Is it a Christmas movie?
Well, you've highlighted
because right at the beginning.
Yeah, explain.
Right at the beginning, Russell Crowe's character. So he's a policeman. He's driving around
Yeah.
with his partner, and I don't know where they get called to some house. There's a bit of a disturbance going on. This guy's basically beating up his wife.
That's right.
And Russell Crowe, to get this guy's attention,
Yes.
this is happening inside the house. Russell Crowe goes over. He has all the Christmas decorations on top of the house.
That's right.
And Russell Crowe just rips the whole lot off.
That's right.
Off the roof, and then this guy comes out to get his attention. So, and then there's a bit of drinking involved. So it
is.
starts off around Christmas.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think my philosophy is if it's set at Christmas, it's a Christmas movie.
Fine. Okay.
Okay.
Die Hard, the whole works.
Right.
Okay.
Bish bash. Small things like these. That's a Christmas movie as well.
Right.
It's very sad,
Okay.
whatever.
Yeah.
So that brings us nicely into Christmas movies.
Yes. So talking of Christmas movies,
Right.
Yes.
I'm gonna
Segue that in. Didn't it?
I'm
It's
going
almost like
to
this-
give you a top 10.
Yes.
These are the 2024 top 10 Christmas movies, best Christmas movies of all time,
Time.
according to Time Out magazine.
Can I suggest something? We either say turkey, okay,
Or Cracker.
or cracker.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, okay?
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
so in at number 10
Yes.
is a 1993 film,
1993.
which I normally watch
Yeah.
on the last day of November.
Oh, that is Nightmare Before Christmas.
It is in at number 10.
It's a cracker.
That's a cracker.
That's
yeah,
a
yeah.
cracker.
Okay, in at number 9,
Yes.
we have a 2005 film starring Iron Man himself, Mr. Robert Downey Jr. It's called
Christmas movie.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Oh, I know that one, but it's
I think it is a.
it's
Yeah.
Is it a Christmas movie though?
I don't know. I don't recall it being Christmas. But, it's,
you know
it's
what?
a good film. Yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah.
I'm going to call it half a turkey.
Yeah.
And
Half
half a
it.
cracker.
Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't ask if you were turkey or cracker in
Yeah.
Nightmare Before
Yeah.
Christmas, did I?
Oh no, we get
cracker in
cracker.
there.
We
You
cracker.
cracker,
Yeah, we
okay.
cracker.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 8, we're taking you all the way back to 1990.
Right.
Edward Scissorhands.
It's a cracker.
Yeah, it's probably a
Tim
cracker.
Burton.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
It's Winona Ryder. I mean, what more can you ask for?
Yeah. Is it Christmas? Yeah, it's
Oh
Christmas.
yeah, you can Winona Ryder. Oh yeah.
21 years ago,
Yes.
Bad Santa came out. It's in
Oh,
at number
massive
7.
cracker.
I've seen it.
I
I've
haven't
seen
even
it.
seen Bad Santa.
No.
Right.
That's the one with what's his name?
Billy
isn't it?
Bob Thornton.
Really, but honestly,
21 years ago.
20.
Yeah, it's 2003.
We made Bad Santa 2 a few years afterwards. Honestly, you need to watch that.
Okay, right,
It is
fine.
the
Okay,
it is the
yeah.
epitome of anti-Christmas
Right.
movie. It is brilliant.
Good.
We're
Okay.
heading back to 1990 at number 6.
Oh, Die Hard.
No.
Mm.
Home Alone.
Never seen it.
Turkey.
Never seen it.
Turkey.
See, for me, it's a turkey.
Turkey.
Yeah, okay.
Turkey.
Yeah.
Okay. In at number
Done.
5, we're going all the way back to 1984.
Right.
You shouldn't eat or drink after midnight.
Oh,
Right.
Gremlins.
Yeah.
Cracker.
Oh, that's great. Yeah,
Definitely.
That's a
Cracker.
Yeah, that's a fantastic
I
Yeah.
can't
Christmas
believe
film.
that's 1984.
Yeah.
It's 40 years old.
Thanks.
I remember it.
I was 14 when it came out.
Yeah.
Sticking with the 80s, in
Yes.
at number 4, 1983, A Christmas Story.
Oh,
I've not heard of
sounds
that one.
quite tenuous,
Yeah,
doesn't
no,
it?
not seen it.
I'm going to call it a turkey just for the sake of it.
Okay.
If you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Going back 21 years again, in at number 3,
Yeah.
a very tall man is in this one, but he's brought up by some very small people.
Oh, it's Elf.
Oh,
It's
That's
Elf.
it,
And
yeah.
you know what? I saw a theatre production of this on Sunday by the fabulous Jam Theatre, and it was amazing.
Right.
They changed a lot of the storyline,
Yeah.
and the first thing Sophie said when we got home, she said, "We need to watch Elf till we get the proper storyline." I went, "No. We'll get closer to Christmas before
Right.
we watch this."
Well, I mean, I'm not a big Christmas film person. I don't know why, but
Really?
I just yeah.
Yeah, bar humbug.
But I'd never seen Elf until
Sorry.
we went round to your house on like Christmas Eve,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
5 or 6 years
Yeah,
ago, and I loved
exactly.
it. I mean, I've seen it a few
It's
times.
very
since,
film-
yeah,
funny
it
film.
is a good film. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't work out which bit's my favourite bit in Elf,
Right,
though.
right.
I love the bit where he tries to go up the escalator.
Yes.
And he just does the split.
Oh.
Or Santa.
Yeah. Oh my God, I know him.
Yeah.
When he's jumping across the zebra crossing.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Or picking chewing gum up from the bottom of the seats.
And when it says like the greatest coffee in the world or
Yeah.
something, he
Well
goes
done.
in, congratulations,
Right,
and it's
right.
this little dive.
Yeah.
Exactly.
In at number 2,
Yes.
we're taking you to 1988.
It's got to be Die Hard,
When's
surely.
When's Die Hard coming up? Not,
Die Hard came out in 1988.
oh, okay. Is
Die Hard,
is
yeah.
It's in at number 2,
Number
yeah.
2, okay.
Number
that's
2,
fine.
so that's definitely a
I mean,
cracker.
yeah,
I watched
yeah.
it 2-3 days ago.
Right.
Oh yeah.
I've watched it. Yeah, I haven't watched it this year yet, but yeah.
It's definitely. But
There's a new film, out. There's a new
There
Netflix
is.
film out
Called-
called Carry
Yes.
On.
Carry
We've
on.
It's
started
meant to
watching
be a
it.
bit.
Yeah.
Die
A
Hard.
lot of people are saying it's the
Yeah,
next Die
yeah,
Hard.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Yeah,
Jason,
what's that?
Jason Bateman.
Yeah.
In at number 1, I personally feel like this one has been at number 1 for everyone always.
If
yeah.
it's Polar Express, I'm
No,
leaving.
No, it's not that.
Oh, bye.
No.
It's 1946.
Yeah.
19. Oh, It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
wonderful life.
Is that a cracker?
It's gotta be a cracker.
It is.
It's
Yeah,
gotta be a
yeah,
cracker.
Yeah, I mean,
It's-
the first time I saw that again was only a few years ago.
Yes.
But it's brilliant.
Nice.
It's sad and then really happy.
Yeah, yeah. It's
And
great.
what are your traditional Christmas Day movies?
Elf is definitely top of the list, but Scrooged with Bill Murray,
Murray,
that
right.
is a beautifully fantastically put together Christmas film. I also like Nativity, which is a great British movie
Right, yeah.
with Martin Freeman in it as well.
Yeah.
I also talk about in British movies. I also really like Click and Collect.
I love Click and Collect. Stephen Merchant.
Stephen Merchant
Okay.
and your fella from the People Just Do Nothing, Japani G.
Oh,
He
right,
is
right.
absolutely fantastic in that film.
Yeah.
And I also love Love Actually as well. I'm a big sucker.
not on the list.
My wife hates it.
But it's
on the
not in the
list.
top 10.
She finds
Again.
it wrong for so many
Well,
reasons.
again, I hadn't seen that up until
Yeah.
a few years ago, and then I sat down and watched it, and I was like, because obviously, you always see it on people's
course.
lists
Yeah.
and things.
Yeah.
And then I saw it, and I was like, is this seems a bit?
Yeah.
It's got some. Anyway, yeah.
So I would say personally, I would say Love Actually is probably one of my favourite ones, apart from Die Hard.
Right.
What's your favourite Christmas movie? I know you don't do Christmas
Yeah,
movies,
but
but
it
you're
probably
pushed.
is. It probably is Die Hard.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if it's the only one that I probably would have seen consistently, and then Elf, I think. I mean,
Obviously.
yeah, I mean it's probably those. Yeah, yeah.
Scrooged actually for this top 10 came in at number 13. So this is Time Out though. So
Right.
obviously these
I'm
are
having some time out from Time Out.
there are different top 10s that I saw.
Yes.
99% of them
Yeah.
all had It's a Wonderful Life at number 1.
Of course. it
So
is.
for me, yeah, I would probably say Elf.
Yep.
But for me, there's one that is always on
Yeah.
on Christmas Day that I've loved since day one.
Great Escape.
No.
It's always on Christmas.
Labyrinth with David
really?
Bowie. Yeah.
It's not Christmassy though, is it?
But it's always played on Christmas Day, and I've watched
Yeah.
it since I can remember.
Yeah, right,
Okay.
right,
And the
right.
Goblin King is the greatest.
Yeah.
Long live the Goblin King. Normally you set homework for Peter. Is Lawrence setting you homework this time, or are you going to set Lawrence something?
I think you should both. I'll interject here maybe.
Yeah, go
but I
for
think
it.
you should both see
Red Rocket.
Okay,
yeah,
I'm
and then
gonna-
you can compare it to
Next week.
Anora. I mean, it's I mean, it's a great film, but it'd be interesting, and it's the lead in it is amazing as well. Another great lead in it, but
So
and then
we're deciding what we're doing next week because obviously Christmas
Yes.
Day is on Wednesday, and obviously we were recording the day afterwards, on Boxing Day on
Boxing
Thursday.
Day, so it might be slight hungover.
So we're going to
I mean,
decide.
yeah.
We will let everybody know what we're up to.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's probably not a good Christmas Day film, this Red Rocket. But, yeah.
So there we have it.
Good.
What any films do you think we'll be able to squeeze in before next week?
What do we have booked in for next week?
I'm watching. I don't know, a bit of streaming on Netflix. I don't know whether you've. I mean, there's that Carry On thing.
Yeah, well, I really want
And
to
then,
finish
have you
that.
seen Black Doves? Have you started watching that?
No.
yet?
I've heard it's amazing.
Yeah,
I've
I
heard
sat
it's
down
very,
for-
and I've heard it's Christmas related as well.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
a massive Keira Knightley fan, so I don't
You know
know how
what?
I feel about it.
But it's got Ben, what's his name in it?
Yeah, the voice of Paddington.
Withenshaw?
Yes,
Within-
and I love
Withenshaw,
him to
that's
bits.
it.
I really do.
Nicest man ever in
yeah,
the world.
yeah, he's not so nice in this, but yeah, yeah.
That's
okay.
But it's good. It's good. It's a good show. Yeah.
James,
Yes.
how can people find us?
People can find us on YouTube. They can look at us on YouTube, and you can look at the gorgeous Lawrence Ratcliffe in 3D.
I know they've heard his reviews and
Yeah,
now they can see him in
exactly,
person.
Yes. You can also stream us on all of your normal streaming platforms for all of your podcasts. You've got your Spotify, you've got your Amazon, you've got your Apple, and all sorts of weird and wonderful stream. What do you use for your streaming, Lawrence?
My streaming, I do Netflix and Amazon basically.
Oh,
yeah,
do you?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And you speed up your podcast, don't you?
My podcast, I normally listen to this at about 1.5 speed. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it sounds surprisingly normal.
Where do you listen to us?
I listen on Apple Podcasts.
Apple.
Yeah.
Right.
And yeah, please don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe.
Right.
And you can leave comments. And
Down here.
Down here.
just down here somewhere.
Yeah.
And also you can send us a text message.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
So
And
And if you know us personally, we're always insisting that all of our close friends and family send, and then people that know us, by
wait, I
accident.
have friends.
Yeah. Anyway, please send us we love a voicemail. We love a voicemail.
We do.
Yeah.
But if you are sending us a text message via the descriptions, please leave your name because it doesn't tell us who you are.
That's correct. Good.
Perfect.
Right.
Would you like to prepare us
Oh,
out?
my preparing again.
You
can
prepare.
prepare. Look how
Over
happy
to
he is.
you,
Yeah,
Mr.
well,
Lawrence.
it's been a pleasure, guys.
Thank you so much
Very
for
emotional.
joining
I've
us.
got
Thank
a
you
little tear in my
Thank you
eye.
for inviting me
Please,
on.
yeah,
And,
please let us
yeah.
know how you think Lawrence did as well.
Yes, yeah. But yeah,
Popcorn Pundits. Week
Podcast.
60 in the can. Minus Peter.
Have a good Christmas.
Have a good Christmas.
Cheers all.
Bye.
Is this recorded? Tell me it's recorded.